They say that talking to yourself is a sign of insanity. But I think that's only if you answer back, right? Right. This is Talking to Myself, the Art Advice podcast where I use anecdotes from my real life to try to make myself a better artist, and possibly a better person. Although others might find this useful, mostly I'm just trying to avoid paying for therapy. Today on the podcast, I thought I would discuss a philosophy that has helped me a bit in real life and in art. It took a while to learn this kind of thing, even though I'd heard it a few times before. The concept of enjoying the little things. Overall, happiness is a very difficult thing to achieve. And you think to yourself, only children seem to have happiness that lasts for extended periods of time. And even then, can be easily upset because they're children. People who are grown up and have responsibilities and have, things they have to do, work, life, traffic, that kind of thing. You find it a lot harder to maintain a grip on happiness. So you have to rely on taking pleasure in small things, seemingly insignificant things. Because a lot of the big things are tainted with guilt, frustration, anger, negative emotions. So overall, even if they're overall a positive experience, they're not what I would consider a lasting source of joy. For instance, let's say that you just got a new job and it's a job you really like. Something that you've been thinking about doing for a long time and you finally managed to get a job doing it. And it's pretty good. It's almost what you expected. There are a few things that are not as fun as you thought they'd be. And there are always the things that, because it's a job, there are always things that are not as fun to do as you would hope. There's a reason why people get paid to do jobs. Is because if they were fun to do, you wouldn't have to pay people to do them. People would want to do them for free. And I know some people in the world have jobs that feel like that sometimes, but I would be willing to bet that no one has a job that feels that way all the time, unless you inherited a personal fortune and your job is to count money. But even then, that's got to get boring, right? So the idea is that amidst this ocean of average run through with giant currents of disappointing and bad and negative, there are tiny little bits of flotsam and jetsam floating throughout that are good, that are genuinely pleasant and make life enjoyable. Life is essentially a cookie, not a meal. A meal is something that you can enjoy wholeheartedly, but you may not. It's got too many parts. A cookie, unless you're allergic to the ingredients or don't like sweets, a cookie is pretty much good, 100% good. But that metaphor also applies because if you ate nothing but cookies as meals, you would get sick and probably die. And I know you're probably thinking, so? That seems like a pleasant way to die to me. That's a different discussion. The point is, my metaphor for the cookie is that the good things in life are more like cookies than regular meals. You need regular meals, the nutrition of a meal, to keep you alive and keep you going. And you might enjoy the meal, that's fine, but you don't have to enjoy it for it to serve its purpose. The cookie is nothing but enjoyment. And that's really the only purpose it serves. Yeah, there are calories in a cookie and you need calories to survive, but that's like saying there's water in the ocean and you need water to survive, but you don't need to drink ocean water to survive. My metaphors are getting crazy. So we try to enjoy the small things, look for them, develop a sort of mental filter for them so that you can identify them when they happen in real life and therefore get some joy out of them, because unless you do that, the rest of life will roll over you like a steamroller. It'll just get heavier and heavier. Even things that are not necessarily difficult or bad will start to weigh on you with their mediocrity and the lack of joy. And when that happens, you start wondering what's the point of all this? If every day is just going to be more of the same, if every day is just going to be struggling to get to, say, the weekend, and then you spend the weekend desperately trying to fight off the next week, which is inevitable, what's the point, right? You do that for as many years as you can till your body starts to fail and then you die. There's got to be more to it than that if you're going to enjoy it at all. So look for the small things that you like. Savor them as much as you can. If you can find a way to increase their frequency and the size of them, do that. But the easiest thing to do, the most productive thing to do, is just going to be keep an eye out for them and don't let them pass by without enjoying them. Because a lot of times that's all you're going to get as far as joy goes. And how does this relate to art? Well, a lot of times in a drawing or painting, there'll be an area of interest, very specific area of interest. If you focus all your efforts there, like say 80%, you can do 20% on the rest of the image and it'll still seem successful. It'll still feel like a good work. If you can put 80% of your effort into the most important section of the painting or drawing, nail that, then you'll have a successful drawing. So it's about the small things. Try to make sure you know where they are, you can find them, and that they don't pass you by. Thanks very much for listening. Hopefully your life is full of wonderful little small joys. Special thanks to my patrons on Patreon. You guys get to hear and see these a week before everyone else, and you are the shiniest people I know. You are not a small joy, you are a large joy. Till next time, everybody take care. Try to stay in the game, look for good things, and enjoy them when they pass by. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.